So for game 3, we will be seeing players having a free pick of Huns, Aztecs and Mayans again. The only additional stipulation is that they can't pick Celts either, because they can't use any civilization that was used in game 2. If it's another mirror matchup, then we'll see team random for the guaranteed game 4. If it's a non-mirror matchup, then we will see a swap, and we actually have Goths versus Britons. So this is the dream. It's the age-old debate. Do Goths actually counter Britons? My position on that is no, because on Arabia, I feel like Vinchester, Britain's advantage is just so great in the Castle Age with the cheap TCs and the extra range on the archers and the fast working archery ranges, etc. I feel like those bonuses are just so much more powerful that Goths will have such a difficult time actually getting to the point where they are countering Britons with Huskars and stuff like that. But clearly, Vinchester has taken a bit of a risk. He feels like he can pull off the Goth late game counter to the Britons, shall we say. Kind of expecting Goku to go for Britons and just taking a risk. So let's see. If it backfires on him, then he has the comfort of knowing that he will be in the opposite position in the following game, because the players will have to swap the civs. So, if he finds that it works horribly, he'll probably be thinking, oh well, at least I can win the game after that because it'll work horribly for Goku. And then we'll go to game 5 and settle it on the Hun War. Right, let's check the maps of the players. See, Goku in blue again hasn't changed his colour at all in this. I'm just looking at this wood line. That's an interesting lumber camp. I would have thought he would have scouted his map a little bit more before choosing to put that. I mean, obviously that lumber camp is okay to put 4, 5, 6 villages on until sometime in the feudal age, probably. But I'm surprised he didn't just go here or here. I mean, interesting, I would say. I really hope that if he wants to add many more villages to wood at some point, he doesn't put them all there and he does a second lumber camp somewhere else. Anyway, in fact, all 3 golds in this position. So I find myself saying this a lot when you see gold like this, but you have to keep control of that area or it's game over. The nice thing for him, at least, is that the golds are on the hill instead of at the bottom of the hill, which means that as long as he kind of sets up some presence here, he can then defend them from uphill, but he does have to make sure he doesn't lose control of that area, or otherwise it's curtains for him. Other wood lines for Goku, looking okay. Like, they're a little bit far away, but he can expand there in the Castle Age, no problem. Let's take a look at Vinchester's map in the purple over here. You see that wood lines are looking a lot better than Goku's initial one, but in terms of in the long term, not as substantial as Goku's additional ones that he could take that were further from his base. Does have one nice big one in the back here, along with 2 gold mines and a back stone, which are all towards the rear of his base, that he can defend from on top of this hill, perhaps even do some kind of shield with walls or houses or production facilities. So not a terrible map for Vinchester, but the thing is, like, it depends how he's going to play this. Like, he could try and do some kind of really aggressive Goths play with like man-at-arms and tower forwards. That could work really well, because he will be, if he puts up towers like here, he can take away all of Goku's gold, for example. But if he plays for the kind of the late game, the more defensive alternative, tries to retreat into his shell, and then reach the Imperial Age and do Huskars against the Britons, he could have problems with that, just because it's looking like quite open. And in terms of wood lines, like these will be absolutely devastated by Britain's archers in the Castle Age, which means he'll only be able to fall back to here, really. So I feel like the better option for Vinchester would be going forward, or if not going forward, at least playing very aggressively with man-at-arms, something like that. I think very early we saw Goku, going for what am I saying, 4 villagers on wood straight away, which I was going to say suggested he was drushing, and we did whilst I was trying to get my words right. Then hear the barracks going up. He's put the barracks in a really nice location. I actually like this. He's not settled for putting the barracks here or here. He's trying to kind of build up some presence in this part of the map really early on, which, as we were saying, is going to be really critical for him later on. You know, if he'd built around this area and then left his gold way out exposed up on this hill, he might have had trouble taking it back later on. You can see both players doing 22 pop up, so actually we might not be seeing Drush at all. I think, well, of course we're not, because they're on their way up, but Goku is going to be doing man-at-arms to defend against the almost inevitable man-at-arms from Vinchester. He is that he now sees. In fact, you see the barracks not yet coming up from Vinchester, so maybe I'm wrong in saying almost inevitable, but he is going to do it. Finally. We'll probably just get that up just in time, but you'd think if he did want to do man-at-arms, he would have probably had those that barracks up a little bit earlier, been producing the militia already, so that he could have the militia done by the time he hits feudal and then click the castle upgrade straight away. Not going to have that advantage. It's going to be outproduced a little bit by Goku, but maybe he'll just be looking to keep on adding man-at-arms after that, obviously benefiting from the Goth infantry being cheaper. So Scout going down for Goku. Vinchester taking that fight, surviving it with 7 HP, which means that he'll have that little bit of extra presence when the militias clash. But Vinchester doing 3 militia, no man-at-arms coming in for him. Oh, man-at-arms coming in now, but he's already doing archery raids, so he's going to go kind of like the first game where he did man-at-arms and archers together. Similar build coming for Goku as well. Pretty much instant archery range as well. Also a tower on the gold to help protect it. So both players playing kind of identical at this point. Same uptimes, more or less the same moves at the start of Feudal Age. Only difference for right now being the fact that Goku did opt for a tower, which means he will need to mine some stone at the start of Castle Age in order to drop those TCs and take advantage of the Britain's cheap TC bonus if the game goes that long. Is either player continuing to add man-at-arms? Nope, not for the moment. The Britain's player is, sorry, the Goth player actually going for skirmishes to counter the archers that are likely going to be coming out for Britons. This man-at-arms engagement on this hill, Vinchester not microing as well, kind of taking more hits from downhill than he needed to, and Goku comes away with 2 man-at-arms that have a good amount of health remaining and will be able to start attacking those villages straight away. Vinchester needs to see this quickly. He actually does, fortunately for him, and that villager will escape to the TC, might even manage to take down a man-at-arms and get a nice hit on the other one as well, which is going to make that guy significantly less dangerous to him now. Okay, Vinchester switching into archers, probably was just missing the gold to add in that first archer and doing a skirmisher to begin with. This is kind of dangerous for that villager, but it looks like she just about survives with 7 HP. Meanwhile, Goku, let's have a look at what's going on in his ranges. 1 skirmisher and a bunch of archers as well. Blacksmith is done and fletching on the way. Whereas for Vinchester, no blacksmith just yet, so potential for the 2 armies to clash with Goku having fletching and Vinchester not at the moment. That blacksmith is now being done, but it will be a while until he gets that fletching, and he is moving out. So, and it looks like the 2 armies are probably going to bump into each other. Better numbers for Vinchester there, and if he gets there early enough, might be able to get a shot or 2 with the hill bonus as well. But kind of walking into Goku's fire there, it seems Goku is patrolling and Vinchester possibly not. which means that Vinchester took more damage than he really needed to. And these archers will be able to kind of take this hill for the moment, but there aren't really enough numbers to take the fight against Vinchester anymore, especially with a couple of villagers coming in to kind of bash them. Tank a little bit. Obviously villagers can be quite tanky against a very small number of archers. Once you get more than like the 6 or so units, then they start to just die extremely fast, but especially when there's a skirmisher mixed in, they can take a little bit of fire and let your other military units do the work. You see both players with fletching now, but Vinchester going straight onto padded archer armor as well. Good runner for Goku there. In fact, a runner for Vinchester as well. Both players trying to use a runner to come out the better in that engagement, and it seems like it went much better for Goku. He's got more archers left on the field, but the numbers actually evening up again now. Difference, of course, being that Vinchester has 2 skirmishers left in his army, which means he'll be better in the straight up fight, but not necessarily damage output against villagers. But now, with those additional reinforcements from Vinchester, Goku needs to get out there. I think he's hung around there too long already, taking a lot of damage on some of those archers, and more of them could go down as they flee. Goku is remassing behind though, clinging to this hill pretty nicely, so I think he's playing the map pretty well, adding a lot of presence on the hill, meaning that Vinchester can't really push up here and deny him of gold. Meanwhile, Vinchester's getting a pretty nice wall off. That is closed there, so all he needs to do is ensure he finishes that bit off, which he's now doing, and he'll be shielded all the way across the south and in the kind of northwest, only having gaps here and here. Neither player's army really showing much aggressive intent at this point, both of them camping. Vinchester, I think he knows that Goku's just going to camp this hill and he's not going to want to try and push up there, so he's looking for an alternative way in. He will find that here. Goku has shielded all this area, but it means that Vinchester could kind of walk around here perhaps, maybe get to the wood lines at the back without taking too much fire. I always find this interesting when a player chooses to push out across the map without knowing exactly where the opposing player's army is. We can see that Vinchester has probably done that now, and he's been vulnerable to Goku pushing in at the same time, and given that Goku went the more direct route, he's got there first, forced Vinchester to retreat from there with a ton of villagers, and it's really interrupted his wood gathering operation, because this is just a terrible area to actually be gathering wood from. Meanwhile, Vinchester has dived past this TC pretty successfully, taking almost no damage. Would have liked to have seen Goku like put a little bit more reinforcement to there, try and stop them from doing that. I wonder whether Vinchester will manage to make his way all the way around these oases. It seems he will, which means he's going to get into the back of Goku's base of an absolutely enormous number of units here. And Goku is in trouble. Goku's in real trouble. He needs to kind of pour skirmishers from these ranges to the back of his base ASAP. Doesn't have the numbers and doesn't have the hill at the moment. And Goku's just going to bug out of this area, try and bring those archers back to help clear this up. Vinchester also pushing him away with a decent number of skirmishers. Right now, Goku's still not able to really mass up enough numbers. If Vinchester micros correctly, could really take this fight so easily and cause tons of damage. I mean, he's already causing tons of damage in economic terms because idling half a dozen farms in the village that were on this wood line, but now here's the kind of prey. All of these villagers forced away from the wood line, and a number of them could go down, but Vinchester didn't quite like moving close enough and micro that as well as he could, and now it's starting to get dangerous. I wonder if how aware he is of these other units that are coming back, but now his whole army could get trapped, and this could be hugely decisive, because that is just so many units for Vinchester to lose. And now that this has happened, like what looked like it was going to be so deadly for Goku has actually kind of backfired on Vinchester, I'd say. He did do good damage in terms of idle time, but beyond that, like losing the whole of that army for not really very many villager kills at all, if any. I don't think it was worth it. I think that Vinchester had great potential to do damage there, but he kind of wasted it, and now Goku is in a much stronger position. He might be 4 villagers behind, but if this game goes Castle Age, he'll easily rectify that with the Britain's town centre advantage, and he's got so much more army. But importantly, like, a lot of archers remaining, whereas Vinchester mostly skirmishers, and once those Britain's archers get into the Castle Age, get upgraded to crossbowmen, then that will be really devastating. I was just going to say that Goku need to be really careful not to lose a ton of those archers by blundering into Vinchester's skirms there, but he was on point, falls back. I still wouldn't take this fight, there are just too many skirmishers, and I'd rather let the archers get upgraded, to be honest. Vinchester also doing really well with the runners, seeing that a lot in this game. It's almost like a galley war. But if I was Goku, I'd be like, and I'm probably don't have Goku's micro capabilities at all, but I'd still rather just get out of there instead of thinking, oh, I'll try and micro and try and pick up some kills. I'd rather have those archers turn into crossbowmen. I wouldn't want to lose any of them. Right now, both players onto Castle Age, almost no difference in the timing. Gold mining kicking in for both players whilst they're on the way up. Vinchester also getting stone mining. Maybe he's thinking about a castle. Yep, that is indeed the case. He's got half a dozen villages on gold, getting stone mining, so I think he wants to go Huskarls pretty soon in Castle Age and try and do Castle Age Huskarls against the Britain's archery units. Scale mail armor also coming in as if to confirm that even more. Meanwhile, the archers for Goku move in on this wood line just as he's going to hit the Castle Age now. +2 range already because of the extra bonus that the Britons get kicking in, but being pushed away by towers. Meanwhile, Vinchester's army here could get caught out because there's a lot of skirms there, and Goku using great runners. Again, we've seen this so much in these fights. And that's a lot of the archers for Vinchester going down. But he won't be too fussed by that. He went for elite skirmisher instead of crossbowmen, so the loss of the archers arguably not too bad at all, considering those weren't the units he was choosing to upgrade. Meanwhile, Goku, seeing the elite skirmisher come in and not the crossbowman, he's probably that's why he's transitioning to the knights there, getting scale barding armor as well. But he also may be thinking, like, have a sneaking suspicion about the Huskarls, which the knights would be a good response to as well. He has he seen? No, he hasn't seen the mining camp on the stone. But this is a pretty aggressive move from Goku now. Lots of crossbowmen and knights on the field, and all of this army can easily go down. I mean, it can be out microed by the crossbowmen that now have 8 range with the bodkin kicking in, but also the knights being there as well with the +1 armor. And all of these units of Vinchester will go down. So he won't have much military presence on the map at all at that point, and he'll be relying on that castle to defend, but he's already got it up, which is fantastic for him. And also TCing this hill, which will be pretty hard to break. Goku now seeing that castle, so he'll know what's up. He'll know that Huskarls are probably almost certainly incoming. Meanwhile at home, Goku getting up a second town centre, putting it close to that wood line, but not in really the best location in terms of being a resource gathering drop-off point. Could have probably at least put it 1 tile to the left, I would have thought, maybe a bit close to the stone, the wood line, but never mind. And Goku, having invested in all those knights, so he did clean up a lot of the skirmishes for Vinchester, but beyond that, like, the knights, he's probably not really getting his money's worth out of them, because 6 knights or so with +1 armor to kill a few skirmishes at this point. Not really able to do much with them, but they will start to prove their worth now, of course, with the Huskarls. The Huskarls lacking any kind of melee armor means that they do go down really easily to the knights, and now that is what we're seeing here. A lot of those Huskarls taking a lot of damage from the knights, but with a TC on the hill, and two towers firing on the knights as well. They can't really hang around there. Took so much damage from the missile fire raining down on them, and now the Huskars are going to give chase, but 3 more knights for Goku, catching up with the Huskars. And it's kind of a game of cat and mouse where one player kind of thinks they've got the advantage and tries to commit a little bit more and then gets forced back yet again. Villager numbers, unusually Vinchester being the Goth player against the Britons is actually maintaining an advantage for now. He did get that second town centre a bit earlier, I think. And I don't think Goku onto a third now, although we'll check that just momentarily. I did actually get a third up in a really nice place and aiming for a fourth, abusing that Britain's TC bonus, of course, the cheap wood cost of the TC, securing all of his gold now, which is really important. And the TCEs, the town centres, also offer a really important secondary function here in terms of being safe haven for villagers to jump in when Huskars run underneath them. It's no good trying to cram 30 villagers into one town centre when the Huskars come, because they'll run under the TCs, no problem. Let's have a change point of view and have a look at resource situations. Vinchester actually sitting on 1,300 gold in the bank. I'm not sure what has led him to be floating so much gold. I guess he's probably just lost sight of it for a while, but yeah, someone is saying he needs a market ASAP. I don't know whether they were being just completely prescient because they knew that without me actually having switched to his point of view, but definitely could sell off a little bit of gold if he wants to and get food instead. Extra town centre here, starting to boom up more. Pretty nice TC location. Getting control of some more wood for him, because that is starting to be an issue of this being the only other wood line on his map at this point. Potentially could suffer at the hands of some of these crossbows though. Meanwhile, Goku's kind of gone home playing defensively. A couple of monks coming out, always nice to convert some Huskars and also heal up these knights. A lot of those knights are almost dead after this engagement over here, but getting them back to full hit points will be a real boon for Goku. And I think he's happy to just kind of retreat and boom it up a little bit right now. Doesn't feel that he can push in in the castle age right now with the Britain's army, and like with the Goth player having the castle, having the Huskars to charge out and kill the siege that if he tried to push. But going to the Imperial Age, obviously very, very dangerous, because he's going to have to fight against a civilization which has good counters to the units that he'll be able to make. This is going to be a really nice catch now though, because all of those knights fully healed up on +2 armor are going to run into all these Huskars, save the crossbowmen of Goku, and do a lot of damage to those Huskars for not much in return. See that Vinchester's beginning to add a lot more barracks now. He did do Anarchy so he can produce Huskars from the barracks. And having done the pikeman upgrade as well, recognising that Goku is adding in a lot of knights at this point. Still, with the crossbows there, that's going to be a really great fight for Goku. The pikemen really won't last long, and that will allow the knights to continue doing the work. And this could put a bit of pressure on Vinchester. The fortunate thing is though that it's not backed up by siege, so there's only so much that Goku can do with that. He's not going to be running in and trying to take down TCs or stuff with those knights, so he's just going to be prowling around the edges, maybe trying to pick up a snipe with his crossbowmen and whittle down the military numbers of Vinchester. But even though Goku went onto those 4 town centres pretty early, he remains 10 villagers behind Vinchester, so Britain's player being outboomed by a Goth at this point. However, Goku is up to the Imperial Age first. And Vinchester only now doing handcart, which is a bit of a miss considering how many farms he has and the fact that he's going to be a Goth player who wants tons of food. This is Vinchester's 4th town centre, I think. But it's going to be very, very interesting now to see if Goku can actually make use of that early Imperial Age time and push fast before the Goth truly gets motoring. Right now I think Goku is just taking really great fights all the time. Could do with getting these crossbows to focus down the pikemen, because he's losing a lot of knights there. I feel like they were probably shooting the Huskars. Like, that could have been a so much better fight for him with focused fire against the pikemen. But the monks now coming in for Goku, starting to convert pikemen and Huskars actually. Still, I feel like, even though I started off saying there that the Goku was taking great fights, in the end that one didn't play out well for him, just because the crossbows were shooting at the wrong thing. They were shooting at the Huskars and not the pikes. If they'd microed down the pikes, the knights could have won that so easily from on the hill. And a lot of units there for Goku to waste, because that's a lot of units that won't be dead units that won't be getting upgraded to their Imperial Age equivalents. And I feel like Goku has decided that now he's just going to have to fight fire with fire, fight the Goths with infantry, switching into the champion line straight away. Only on longswords for now, but starting to get up in those different upgrades, and I'm sure he'll be doing two-handed swords straight away now that he's got to the Imperial Age. Meanwhile, Huskar raid, no, not Huskar raiding at all, pikemen raiding in the back of Goku's base, but not really achieving much at all, to be honest. But now the Huskars on the front are starting to do a lot of raiding, taking down some of the villages around Goku's most forward town centre. Those just being Castle Age Huskars. For now, the long swordsmen will do very well against them, especially with the knights in the mix healing up the long swords. And it feels like Vinchester's kind of starting a war of attrition against himself, really, here, because even though those Goth infantry are so cheap, they're not really, not entirely sure he's getting his money's worth out of them right now. But even so, what he is doing is idling some gold and food villages for Goku. And Vinchester is finally on his way to the Imperial Age, so kind of delayed his own Imperial Age timing by flooding units just like a few minutes before he went up. But the important thing is that by doing that, he stopped Goku from just abusing the earlier Imperial Age time and pushing. And he's actually taken map control as well, because whilst all this has been going on, he's been able to push out onto this hill and put that castle there. It's going to take away that third gold, really, for Goku, and also give Vinchester a great base to push in against Goku once he gets the Imperial Age himself, continuing to lay down barracks everywhere and flooding from all kinds of locations. The slightly delayed Imperial Age is working out really well for him now, I feel, because he's actually created a massive villager difference of almost 50 villagers, whilst continuing to flood units, whilst pinning Goku in his base at the start of Imperial Age. And now Goku is looking really up against it, because Vinchester, with the superior economy, is continuing to flood cheaper units, and Goku is just struggling to mass. Even with this castle, Vinchester will be undeterred from just running in, and now Goku's military presence has diminished so much that he's not afraid. Vinchester's not afraid to just run right past him. Nice fast walling here by Goku, who's got to keep him out, but there is one pesky Huskar in the back, and I think Vinchester might have to produce a knight from here to actually deal with those. This house taking downhill hits from the swordsman and going down very quickly. It's good for Vinchester that good for Goku that he's stonewalling up with. Besides that, behind that, this one pesky Huskar doing a ton of work, taking down a bunch of villagers and idling them there. Vinchester finally hits the Imperial Age, getting confusion for the crazy infantry creation speed straight away. Also getting guilds, so because he's got so many resources in the bank that he can sell off for gold, but also importantly deny Goku a chance to do that for good price as well. Look at all this stuff he's getting, he's so rich. Two-man sword, blast furnace, crop rotation, getting all of the eco upgrades, all of the military creation speed upgrades, two-handed swordsman as well. Will be able to continue flooding units from everywhere with the great economy that he has. I'd like to see him getting his population up more now, and he's going to need a lot more houses very, very soon. But putting barracks everywhere, just roaming all over the place with groups of two-handed swordsmen just looking for damage, and stuff like this in the walls of like one palisade. He could chop through there so quickly if he finds it. Goku's perimeter looking very vulnerable now. The Treb War has started. Goku with 2 Trebs and about to be a 3rd, gonna start taking down this castle. And Goku has enough two-handed swordsmen on this hill for now to try and stop those champions from pushing in and taking down the Trebs. Meanwhile, but are these champions going to get in here? There's one more tower that Goku needs to do, but the champs are in, and that could be absolutely disastrous because there's enough champions there perhaps to take down a TC and start really going to town on Goku's eco. See that the castle for Vinchester did go down, but even so, Goku knows that he can't fight up against this endless flood of cheap Goth champions. Doesn't even have the champion upgrade himself, and also this in the back of his economy was going to be absolutely devastating. So 2-1 for Vinchester. So the answer to the question at the moment is that Goths do counter Britons. I still remain unconvinced of whether that's true as a generality, but it was true in this game. Even though it's like someone in the chat was saying Britons need to get the advantage in feudal, I think they did. Vinchester actually donated his army by getting it trapped and not really doing much damage when he snuck into Goku's base. But Vinchester just kind of outboomed the Britons player, which is just surprising. And then the endless flood that he was able to do.
Hey, SMB, I'm back.
Hello, I thought I heard your mic flick on us.